Good morning. This is Chris Robinson Ag Marketing with today's pre-opening grain and livestock comments for Monday, November 3rd, 2025. Welcome to November, kids. And what did China do? China bought 10 cargoes from, wait for it, Brazil. So there you go. We got a trade deal. Oh, yeah. We're going to buy 12 million metric tons. Oh, yeah. What do? They turn around and buy um, beans from Brazil. Most of the stuff that I've read, a lot of, other experts that I follow, probably, even though they said they're going to take 12 from us, they're probably going to take 6 million metric tons. They probably only need 6 million metric tons to get them through the rest of the year. They continue having their 13% tariff on the beans. So that means that only state buyers can buy the ag products. So, we'll see what happens. They bought 6 million metric tons so far. They probably will do another six if we're lucky to get to that 12 number. But again, isn't that ironic that the first thing to do is buy 10 cargoes from Brazil? So they did ask for offers on wheat. I'm sure they're going to get overwhelmed with offers on wheat when we're at 5-year lows. I think that's just a courtesy buy to make the headlines feel better. Historically, really, China doesn't buy corn or wheat from us a lot in a massive amounts. Okay, don't correct me and tell me, don't send me a bunch of information to try to prove me wrong. I've been doing this for 30 years. In general, the only thing China really buys a lot from us is hogs, uh, cotton, and soybeans. So soybeans are the number one thing that we have to worry about them because we grow 4 billion bushels, and historically they take 1 billion bushels. Whenever you have one customer that takes 25% of your stuff, it's pretty important you have a good relationship with them. All right, so that's my 2 cents on that. I did make a recommendation this weekend for my clients. I did spend about 4 hours yesterday doing charts and looking at stuff. And if you don't reward a 16-month high, one year to 16-month high in the beans, depending on which month you're looking at, it's a 1-year high in Nov, it's a 16-month high in Jan. If you don't reward that dollar plus rally, that's your decision. I recommended, we had been 70% sold on this last little bump up north of $11 in Novi. I recommended getting 100% sold on guaranteed bushels. So what does that mean? Well, if you grow 100,000 bushels of beans and you have a guaranteed bushels of 80%, so you should have all 80,000 of those sold. If you're going to store the rest, for goodness sakes, go out to Jan or March and get some sort of a floor, get a put. If you want to sell the board, fine, go right ahead. You've got the beans. The only problem with that is if you do sell the board and it continues to go higher, you're setting yourself up for what happened to guys, that were short cattle for the last 10 months. It's margin calls, margin calls, margin calls. So I would say this: if you're going to store it, buy a put. If you're selling it and you think that I'm crazy to tell you to sell it, well, if you're selling into a $1.10 rally, that's the key. You make the money with a cash sale in this game if you're a producer. And then if you're convinced it's going to go higher, why not hold back 25 cents tops of that $1.20 and re-own it on paper for 25 cents? You can make another dollar or $1.30 depending on what happens with beans. But I'd much rather see you make the $1.20 plus on the board. Now, if you think you're going to be if you want to be George Soros and be a bean trader, go ahead. But if you're a producer, you've got to reward these rallies. You get these bushels out of your hands. Start looking at 2026. If you're going to store it, protect it. That's all I have to say about that. Overnight, these corn traded up to 432.5. We need to get above 437 to hit our target up there. And, again, if you're not getting my letter, sign up for it. Doesn't cost a lot. It's $50 a month. If you don't like it, you can cancel it. You can buy the whole year for $500 if you want. But I do share all my details there. This is more of a general, reach out to people that are interested. D Sweet 432.5. November beans 1105.5, up 5.5. It traded as high as 1113. If you look at Jan beans, traded as high as 1128, finished at 1119, and we did have a 15-cent trading range. So that's where you're at right now. We're going to have some big swings in beans. If you're long beans, either sell it or protect it. That's all I can tell you. Chicago D Sweet up 7 cents from 34 to 43, not even a 10-cent range. Couldn't even manage that even with that China news. Again, up 7 cents though, take it. But again, at the end of the day, why wouldn't they want to buy wheat when we're near 5-year lows? We've just bounced 40 cents off of 5-year lows. And if you're looking for the technicals, I did all the retracements in this weekend's wrap. If you want it, call me directly, 312-638-8868. Give me your email. I'll send it to you. You can take a look at it. Take a look at it. If you like it, keep it. If you hate it, block it and delete it. Pretty simple. We're going to see what happens today in the fat cattle and feeder cattle. We did finish lower on Friday in fats and feeders. We've had a pretty sizable correction there. Is there going to be more to the downside? I don't know. There's no information as to whether or not they are or are not going to reopen the border with Brazil. That seems to be the number one thing we're looking at here. If they do reopen the border with Brazil, that means all that cattle will start. The border with Mexico. I misspoke. If they open the border with Mexico because they decide that the screwworm is no longer an issue, that's just going to increase supply up here. That when you increase supply, it should put prices down. It should. We'll see if that's what happens. As far as Brazil goes, the tariffs remain intact, and they're going to be bringing some hamburger up basically from Argentina. Although it's really not enough to really tip the scales when you look at how much they're talking about. Again, I think it was more of a headline move than anything else. If you dig deeper into it, the main problem remains we don't have a big enough herd for the demand that we have. We've had that problem since COVID. Okay. And moving on to the hogs. Hogs are at a key level here. These hogs sitting here right around 80, 81 cents. Is this retracement going to hold? I don't know. It was a 4-month low on Friday. Is that going to hold? I don't know. If you're working with me, we've rolled down all of our puts. We've taken money off of our expensive puts, replaced them with cheap puts. We're not lifting the puts because I'm not in the game of telling you the lows are in. Okay. If you own hogs, you need to have a floor defending the revenue. But again, I'd rather have a cheap put on than an expensive put on. And let's face it, if you sold back there in September and you want to take a shot at re-owning them on a correction like we've had, this 40% pullback to a 4-month low, if you want to re-own those animals, that's up to you. Go buy yourself a cheap call. It's not a trade. It's more speculative. But if you're like, hey, I made good money on those animals on the way up, they've had a break. If you want to try and re-own them, go ahead, take a shot. I'm not in the business of promising people if you buy it here, you'll make money. If you sell it here, you'll make money. Every day, it's an unfolding trade. Every day, we manage risk. I think successful hedging, successful marketing is about managing risk. The people that get hammered and you never hear from again are the people that get great big ideas. They promise you we're going to have $5 corn. They promise you we're going to have $8 beans. I don't play that game. Every day it's a new trade. And if you're a farmer or producer, you are a net long speculator. You are a trader, but you're the trader that buys 100 contracts and then goes to lunch and comes back at the end of the day and you either made money or lost money because you're always long. My advice to those guys is if you buy it, make sure you know what your maximum loss is with a hedge and then hope that it rallies. All right, kids, that's it for this morning. If you need some help, give me a call, 312-638-8868. I'm here to help. Take a look at the free letter. Take care.